Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Every chapter of Bhagavad Gita is complete in itself, as well as from one chapter the next chapter is born. So if you take the sutra technique like the Narad Bhakti Sutra, Brahma Sutra, Yoga Sutra, according to that technique, if you look at every chapter as a sutra, it gives birth to the next chapter. And yet every chapter is complete in itself in helping the seeker to come out of the problems of life. Here also, in the 13th chapter, Bhagavan has brought out the two factors. One is Kshetra and second is Kshetrajna. And third is Bhuta Prakriti Mokshamcha. So, how do we get out of the limitation of the Kshetra or the Prakriti? And what are the components of this Kshetra or the Prakriti? What are their signs? How do we know them? How do we know their effect? How do we know their manifestation? And how do we know that we have come out of it? This topic remains to be told in the 13th chapter. Therefore, the 14th chapter began to expand on this aspect of the subject which was not exhaustively dealt with in the 13th chapter. And therefore we start this 14th chapter. Here first we have seen that what is the creation? Creation is when the Paramatma creates this world, this falls in the purview of the Apara Prakriti. After having created this world, Apara Prakriti, then he enters that world, Jiva Bhuta, having become the Jiva. And thereafter the samsara starts, neither for the Paramatma, nor for the Ishvara, nor for the Jagat. But then for whom? For the one who has entered and started behaving as if he is limited. He is not. It is only our imagination that we think that we are limited, we are conditioned. And how this is, I'll tell you one small story, from that you will understand. There was a girl who got married. She came from village, Rajasthan. Rajasthan as a state, as a whole, is a village, big village. So, she got married to a person from a city. And this man was told by his friends, look here, if you keep your wife under terror and fear right from day one, then only you will live happily. Once she takes over of you, then you are gone. So don't have that funny notion, honey, I love you, etc. It doesn't work in life. So be strict. Never talk normal. Will you please get me a glass of water? No. Get me a glass of water, otherwise. And she will shiver and get. So he starts. For everything, the same thing. And that poor girl, totally shattered, fearful, and starts living under that fear. Because she had imagination that he is bad and he may do anything, and I am his slave, I have to live like this. Her imagination. And one day, she was so tired of his constant threat. He asked as usual, "Where is my hot water? I have to take bath. Otherwise," she was poor girl, busy doing some job. So she casually asked, "Otherwise what?" "Otherwise I'll take cold water bath." So all these months, she was unnecessarily afraid. She said, "Hey, why was I afraid?" Isn't it? In the same manner, we imagine only. Somebody loves us, somebody hates us. We cannot live without this, we cannot do without that. It's all imagination. Once you know that this is imagination, you can drop it instantaneously. And for that we must know what is this Prakriti, what is the bondage, and what are these three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. Has anybody seen the gunas so far? No. Unnecessarily. Daivi hesha gunamahi mama maya duritteya mameva ye prapadyante maya vetam tarantide. Don't lead your life under fear and imagination. So bhuta prakriti moksham cha. How one can come out of this bhuta, the ghost of fear, imagination. For that, this 14th chapter begins. Let us analyze what exactly is what, and then we will try to get liberation. So, Purusha, Prakriti, and reflection of the Purusha in the Prakriti as a Jiva. Out of this, the Purusha doesn't suffer, the Prakriti doesn't suffer, the reflection, the Jiva Bhava, that suffers. Now, what is that Jiva Bhava because of which the suffering takes place? To understand that, we take up the topic, what is the Prakriti first. So, Sattvam Rajastameti Guna Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibadhanti Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. So, this Avyayam, unmodifying, unchanging, absolute reality, as if ties down this Paramatma in his own creation, as if, not really, as if. Like this girl thought, as if she is to live under terror with this man throughout life. Up to here we have seen in our last class. Now the 6th verse. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukha sangena badhnāti jnana sangena chanagha. Now among these three gunas, sattvam rajastamiti guna prakriti sambhavaha, so they bind this Paramatma as if to reduce him to Jivatma. So tatra, among these three gunas, first we will talk about the sattva and how the sattva guna binds the Paramatma to become a Jivatma. The first step. And before we go further, let us understand the meaning of these three gunas. See, as we have studied elsewhere, the Prakriti or the Maya is Karyanumeya, can be known only from the effects. Directly, Prakriti, Maya, cause cannot be known. A cause is a cause because of the effects. So, this is the first principle. Now, what is this world? In this world there are three components. One is the knowledge component, second is the action dynamism component, and third is the matter component. So, what is the cause of this knowledge component? That cause is called as sattva, guna. So it is not like, the sweetness of the sugar, it is not the blueness of the flower. No, we are not talking about that. So the cause of the knowledge aspect is sattva guna, that of the dynamism rajoguna, and that of the inertia, indolence is the tamoguna. So, karyanumeya, from the karya, the effect, we infer them. Now this sattva, rajas, tamas, how they create bondage? There is a notion among the spiritual seekers. The notion is that sattva guna is good, rajo guna is bad, tamo guna is worse. But we forget that all of them are necessary for life. If there is no tamo guna, you won't be able to sleep. If you don't sleep, you will not be fresh. If there is no rajoguna, you will not be able to get out of the sleep. And if there is no sattva guna, you will not be able to experience this world. So all the three are extremely necessary for life. Therefore, there is nothing like good or bad. But then, nibadhanti, they bind us. How they bind us? This binding portion we have to understand. And once we understand the binding aspect of these three gunas, then we will take care of that aspect and play with these three gunas in life. This is how the purpose of this 14th chapter is. Now, first we take sattva guna. Tatra sattvadinam sattvasya eva tavat lakshanam uchyate. Now, what is the sattva guna that we will tell you? Lakshanam. Nirmalatvat sphatika mani iva prakashakam. Sattva is of the nature of nirmala. Mala is normally referred to the rajas and tamas. So, sattva is that where the rajas and tamas is minimum. Means what? There is no dynamism, activity, nor there is laziness or indolence. So, tattva sattvam nirmalatvat. Mala, rajas, tamas are not in great measure. So, tattva sattvam nirmalatvat. Mani, sphatika mani iva prakashakam. And therefore, it is predominantly an illuminator. Prakashakam. Now, illumination and prakash are prakashakam. What it means? Now, this is another very subtle point. All the gains, whatever we get in our life, is always jnanatmak, is always through knowledge. And whatever there is a loss, is always through ignorance. For example, if there is more of sugar in the tea and you take that cup of tea, but you have tremendous acidity, so much that your whole mouth has become like the tongue of a shoe. This example I am giving you because I experienced this. My acidity had increased once to such an extent that even breathing air used to create a terrible uncomfortable feeling. And then slowly, after about more than a year or two, slowly it subsided. So for 1 year almost, I was sleeping in a sitting posture. I was not able to lie down on the bed. So I used to sit like this, put my leg on the cot, and in this sleep. After sleeping in this meditative posture for 1 year, when that acidity has fully gone down, operation was done, everything was done. Then when I started sleeping horizontal, I used to get the feeling that I am sleeping with the Shirshasana, because now the head has become like that. So when there was such a terrible acidity, that time even the sweet does not taste sweet. Meaning, if something is sweet, unless it is known, it is not gained. This is the rule. Therefore, all the experiences are through jnanendriyas and not through karmendriya. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha is known through jnanendriyas. And therefore, when we study the manomaya kosh and vijnanamaya kosh, what are they? Pancha jnanendriyas, and mana is manomaya kosh, and pancha jnanendriyas and buddhi is the vijnanamaya kosh. Therefore, tatra sattvam nirmalatvat, sattva is the one which is responsible for illuminating all the worldly things and giving an experience to the jiva. Tattva sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam. And second is anamayam. Anamayam. Amaya means disease. Anamayam means nirupadravam. It doesn't give any disease. So, when we use our faculties, jnanendriyas and the antakaran, they are all falling for the sattva guna, in the category of the effects of sattva guna. When we take our jnanendriyas and antakaran, they do not create any problem. On the contrary, they make the world available to us. Therefore, anamayam, there is no problem. However, there are two things crop up. Which are those two things? How they bind us? First, sukha sangena. They bind the jivatma by his attachment to the sukha, because sukha and dukkha is an experience gained by the antakaran through the faculties of jnanendriyas. And therefore, I want all the comforts, I want all the happiness, I don't want discomfort. So, sukha sangena badnati. Now, here Bhagavan Shankara says, Sukha sangena sukhi aham iti vishaya bhutasya sukhayasya vishayini atmani samshlesha apadanam mrusha eva sukhe sanjanam iti. Actually, we essentially are the source of all happiness, being Satchidananda. And therefore, nobody can give us happiness. But this jiva, when he goes and comes in contact with the worldly objects, when he goes and comes in contact with the worldly situation which are conducive for his existence, he experiences happiness, and then he starts imagining that this happiness is what I have been seeking in life. And then he wants only that kind of thing to happen again and again. And as a result, Vishaya Bhutasya Sukhasya, the happiness gained through the indulgence with the objective world. Vishaya Bhutasya Sukhasya Vishayini Atmani Samslesham. Superimposition of the happiness gained from the worldly objects through the sense organs is on the self, the pure self, is superimposition. Mrusha eva sukhe sanjanam. This attachment to the worldly enjoyments through the sense organs is mrusha, is wrong. And this is how Sattva Guna has now two aspects we have seen. Which is one aspect, it is eliminating the worldly experiences, good or bad. And then out of these good or bad experiences giving happiness or misery, out of that, those experiences which give us happiness, which are conducive to our own way of lifestyle, mind, etc., we get attached to that, and this attachment is creating bondage born out of Sattva Guna. See? Sukha Sangena Badnati. Now, to understand, take few examples. The Lord has to continue his, drama of creation. What is a drama? Drama is that where there are problems. If there are no problems, there can't be drama. So what he does, he brings two characters together on the stage of life. One character is called as husband, other called as wife, brought together. And they are exactly opposite nature. If the husband is extremely methodical and perfectionist, God has to bring exactly opposite character as his wife. And she is such a dumb creature. She just doesn't understand cleanliness. She doesn't understand perfection. But she is very loving. Such people have to be loving. What else can they do? Now, practicing perfection, cleanliness is always good. Sattva Guna. Nirmalatvan, Prakashakam. But when we become obsessed with this goodness, we become bound, and because of that we suffer in life. This is the meaning. That although it is nirupadravam, anamayam, knowing the world through the senses and the mind is not problem. But when we become attached to the sukha, we become miserable in this world. Now, sa esha avidya. This is what is called as ignorance. So, mrusha eva sukhe sanjanam, a wrong notion that the happiness has come from the worldly objects and not our own essential bliss. This is mrusha, this is illusion. This is called as the bondage through the Sattva Guna. Now, second, nahi vishaya dharmo vishayino bhavati. The attributes of the objects cannot become the attributes of the experiencer. And what was told in our 13th chapter, Ichchadi cha dhrutyantam kshetrasya eva vishayasya dharma iti uktam bhagavata. You remember, Bhagavan has already told, Ichcha dvesha sukham dukkham sanghatas chetana dhruti etad kshetram samasoktam savikaram udarutam. Sukha is the dharma of the kshetra. But this kshetri, he starts imagining, my whole life is only for happiness. I want happiness, and become miserable. Because the want is there. The moment you discard the want, you are there. Therefore, this sattva creates this kind of wrong notion that the sukham of the prakriti or the kshetra is mistaken to be the source of happiness, but it cannot be. Ataha avidyaya eva swakiya dharma bhutaya vishaya vishayi aviveki lakshanaya aswatma bhute sukhe sanjayati. Therefore, avidyaya, through ignorance. What is the ignorance? Vishaya vishayi aviveka lakshanaya swakiya dharma bhutaya. Avidyaya. That ignorance which is of the nature of lack of discrimination between the experiencer and the experienced, and all the attributes of the experience, the Prakriti, is mistaken to be the source of happiness or one's own happiness, and therefore one gets attached to that. So ivam saktam iva karoti asukhinam sukhinam iva. So this dehi becomes as if attached. Sukhe sanjayati iva, as if attached. And saktam iva karoti, and thereafter he starts behaving as if without that he cannot live. And asukhinam sukhinam iva, as if earlier I was miserable, after I got the worldly objects, now I am happy. This is the bondage created out of the sattva guna. What is the reason? Because the too much attraction for the sukha, the comforts. You will see, therefore there are seekers. If I had to label them, I will label them as 5-star spirituality. So they will have all the comforts made. You go and see in many ashrams, they will get one room for them. For what? Any time I can come and be in the ashram and meditate. After they have seen the plan, made the payment, they never come even to see that room throughout their life. But then other mosquitoes and the visitors, they stay there. Now what is the idea? When I will have my own room, I will be able to do meditation. Those who do meditation, they never have their own room. They freely move in this world. Therefore, this is the saktam iva karoti asukhinam sukhinam iva. This is the bondage born out of sattva-guna. Similarly, tatha jnana sangena cha. And also, the sattva-guna gives tremendous attachment to the jnanam. Now, what jnanam? Here the jnanam means the vritti jnanam. So, I want to study this, I want to know this also, I want to know that also. Where I have seen in somebody's house, Rajasthan or somewhere, a very highly educated person, and when I met him, he said, Swamiji, I want all your books. I said, what will you do with all books? No, come, I will show you my library. The whole house was full of huge volumes. I said, so many books you have read? He said, no, not even once. Not even one book. I said, then why do you want some more books? I said, I got many books. There is no need. He said, no, I have decided that I will accumulate all these books, and once I retire, then I start. Those who cannot study while they are active, dynamic in this world, after retirement, they pass on this thing to the children. And those children come to us. Swamiji, my father has left hundreds and hundreds of books, and we don't know what to do with that. Will you please take? And one person in Bombay, he came with a request. I said, all right. The moment I said all right, he sent his boy down, and he had come with 5-6 cartons full of books. He has already come. And Bombay, my house, you have seen, is so small. Hardly 2 people can stand comfortably. He came and one by one, Ram. And the whole house became full. I said, my God, what I am doing? I never knew that he is so smart. He wanted to get rid of that. Then I said, okay, if you are smart, I am not less. I passed on all the books to the Kaivalya library. Jnana Sangena. I want to know this, I want to know that. I want to study this, Ayurveda I want to study, homeopathy I want to study, yoga I want to study, meditation I want to study, Vedanta I want to study, yoga assistant. Jnana Sangena Vadnati. Such people become the general knowledge expert. Jnana Sangena. Now how it is? ज्ञानम इति सुख साहचर्यात् क्षेत्रस्य एव अंतःकरणस्य धर्मः न आत्मनः. See, knowing and not knowing is the dharma of the kshetra. Why it is kshetra dharma? The attribute of the matter, because jnanam sukha sahacharyat. Knowledge and the sukha, they go together. How they go together? Unless you know, you don't experience. Because without the knowledge, you cannot get any experience. Therefore, as the sukha is the dharma attribute of the kshetra, the prakriti, so also jnanam is also the dharma attribute of the prakriti. And therefore, kshetrasya eva antakaranasya dharmaha. So it is the antakaran. Through the thought only we know something. And na atmanaha. Atma dharvatve sangha anupapattehe. Bandha anupapattehe cha. And the knowledge of the self cannot create bondage. See? There are two stages. One, janati, ichhati, karoti. Second, janati, na ichhati, na karoti. First knows, then desires, and then puts effort. This falls in the world of relative existence, objective life. Second is janati. When I come to discover that I am that infinite real self, thereafter na ichhati. And when there is no desire, na karoti, there is no action, no karma. Therefore, that knowledge which is creating bondage is not the self-awareness that he is talking about. So it is that knowledge which is precursor of the desire, like the sukha. And therefore, it is the dharma of the antakaran, not that of the atma. Had it been the dharma of the atma, we will never say that attachment demands something separate. I can be attached to my watch, I can be attached to my wife, I can be attached to my house. I cannot say I am attached to myself. Not possible. Because attachment demands first separateness. Therefore, this jnanam and sukham, they are not the dharma of the atma. Therefore, we cannot speak about the attachment, and therefore we cannot talk about the bandha. Bandha anupapattehe. There cannot be bondage. Bondage is always that is from others, not from the self. And therefore, sukhe iva jnanadau sango mantavyaha. He anagha, he avyasana. Anagha is a address to Arjun. Anagha means a sinless one. Here, why Bhagavan must have said to Arjun sinless? What is the sin? Sin is anyatha santam atmanam anyatha pratipadyate. Sin is when we mistake ourselves to be the body or the jiva, that is the sin. Recognizing ourselves to be Parabrahma Paramatma is the right thing. So even if you by mistake or by habit consider yourself to be body or the jiva, you are sinful already. You don't have to do sin. You are full of sins. So, hey Anagha, O pure-hearted one, you have not created any sin. Because Pandavanam Dhananjaya, Bhagavan has no doubt that Arjun is none other than Paramatma. It is Arjun who had a problem. Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhe Dronam Chamarasudana. Now, after having cleared the bondage born out of Sukha and the Jnanam, the comfort and the knowledge born out of the Sattva Guna, now we go to the second stage bondage born out of the Rajo Guna. Rajo Ragatmakam Vidhi Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam Tannibadhnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena Dehinam. Rajaha, Rajoguna, Rajaha, Ragatmakam Vidhi. Ragatmakam is of the nature of attachment, desires. So, the Rajoguna creates the Raga, desire, attachment. Ragatmakam Vidhi. And as a result of this, born out of what? Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam. So, this Rajoguna is born out of Trishna and the Sanga, two of them. So, the mother of Rajoguna is Trishna and the father is Sanga. Trishna Sanga Samudbhavam Rajaha Ragatmakam Vidhi. Now, what is the meaning of Trishna? Trishna means aprapta abhilasha asangaha prapti vishaya manasaha priti rakshana samshleshaha. So, Trishna means aprapta abhilasha. That what we do not have, the longing for what we do not have is called as Trishna. And asanga is whatever we have, we are extremely dependent on what we have. We are extremely fond of that. We just don't want to get rid of it. How? We don't want to get rid of even our own foolishness. See? We don't want to get rid of even our own miseries. We carry the load of miseries throughout life. This is only because of the Rajoguna. See, yesterday I received one phone call, long distance. First of all, crying, shouting, fighting between husband and wife. So I spoke to them for 2-3 days. Then again yesterday, Swami, everything is fine, everything is fine. Everything is settled down now, There's no, actually, it was my fault. No, Swamiji, it was not her fault, it was my fault, Now tell me, do I need to see the cartoon shows and TV? Only thing I have to pay my phone bill. That's it. Therefore, this is all born out of these foolish notions. So, aprapti, avilasha, trishna, asanga, prapti vishaya manasaha, priti lakshanaha, samshleshaha, asanga. Therefore, what is the spiritual practice? 1, do not justify you are miserable. Second thing, don't continue to be miserable throughout your life. There is nothing worth in this world to hold on to any experience. Nothing. That which will destroy your peace, your happiness is worth of discarding, whatever it may be. So, Trishna Sangayoho Samudbhavam, Trishna Sanga Samudbhavan. So, this Rajo Ragatmakam, the attachment for everything in this world is born out of these two things. What we don't have, we want. What we have, we are extremely attached to that. To get rid of this, Bhagavan Sri Krishna told in the 9th chapter. What? Ananya chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. So yogakshemam vahamyaham is Trishna Sanga taken care of. So, tan nibadhnati. So, by that, tan nibadhnati tad rajaha kaunteya karma sangena drishta adrishta artheshu karmasu sanjanam tad parata karma sangaha. Now, when we have desires and longing, we will always be involved in one or the other karma. Now, see how the karma is born. First step, we imagine we are incomplete, therefore not happy. Then the desire is born. Desire about what? What we don't have. If I am not married, I will have desire for getting married. If I am married, I will have desire to get separated. Reason is to get happiness. And if I do not have desires, neither I will get married if I am not, nor I will seek divorce if I am already married. So there is no desire. So desire is necessary for all the activities. Therefore, tannibadhnati kaunteya karma sangena. We get extremely attached to the various kinds of activity because drishta adrishta artheshu karmasu. All that is known or unknown, if I want something, I will have to put forward efforts and then I will glorify. And I don't like laziness, I do work, I work hard. Do you know, when I came here, nothing was, I work on. And what do you have now? I have got everything except peace of mind. I have got everything except loneliness. I have got everything except feeling low. See? Because those who are too much karma oriented, they get extremely lonely, frustrated when their ability to karma, to do the karma goes down. So, tena nibadhanti rajo dehinam. So thus, this rajoguna ties down us, dehinam, in the activity. And such people are workaholics. They just can't keep quiet. They have to take up something or the other. Like, one of my friend, once he asked me a question. A very good industrialist, very rich man. He asked this question. Swamiji, when I look at you, I feel so jealous. How comfortable, enjoying you are. Also moving around the world, but so happily. I am also moving around the world, but so tense and all that. Tell me what I should do. I said, you become a Babaji. No, Swamiji, that is not possible. I said, all right. Tell me something else. I said, good, listen. What is that? Start some new more industry. See? How long are we going to continue this foolishness? Struggle to such an extent that we get exhausted, tired, worn out, and then we go to sleep because we are exhausted. That is not spiritual practice. Be attentive. From Rajoguna, if we end up in the Tamoguna, we are leading the life of a wrong lifestyle. And if from the Rajoguna we enter the Sattvaguna, then we are entering the life of right style. Because after we come to Sattvaguna, then alone there is a possibility of inquiry and higher life, not otherwise. Therefore, karma sange nivadhanti he kaunteya dehinam. So this rajaha, rajoguna ties down with the attachment to the karma. They become workaholics. Now the third category, easier to understand. Tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabhihi tannibadhnati bharata. Tamaha tu ajnanajam vidhi. Now this Tamoguni Maharaj, Tamoguna is born, Tritiyo Gunaha, is Ajnanajam, Ajnanat Jatam, Ajnanajam, born out of ignorance. Means what? Ignorance itself is Tamoguna, born out of ignorance. So, Vidhi, Mohanam, Mohakaram, Avivekakaram, Sarvadehinam, Sarvesham Dehavatam. Rajo, the Tamoguna is responsible for all our foolish lifestyle. What is the foolish lifestyle? First, foolishness, living with the Dehatma Bhava. No. We can go one step still down. First, living under the influence of the mamata. Second, living with the understanding of the dehatma bhav, ahanta. Third, living under the jivatma bhav. So this is only born out of ajnanam. Therefore, tritiyo gunaha sarvadehinam sarvesham dehevatam mohanam mohakaram avivekakaram. And how does he create this aviveka, lack of discrimination and understanding? By three techniques. These are the techniques discovered by tamoguna to tie down us in this relative world. One is pramada, second is alasya, and third is nidra. Three things. You know what is the meaning of alasya? Alasya means victimization of the consciousness by the influence of matter is called as alasya. And what is that victimization? Victimization is in terms of no interest in anything. Alasa means the rasa of life has disappeared. See, alasya bhavaha alasya. And la and ra is used alternatively. So, a rasa and a lasa, they are synonymous. They mean the same thing. So, what is the meaning of laziness? Laziness means there is no interest in anything. I don't think we should. You have gone to Goa with your children, with your wife for a nice vacation. Now the children are full of life, will go and have a nice time on the sea beach, we'll do this, we'll do that, and wife is more excited than the children, and his Babaji goes there. What is there? Don't go near the water, let us only watch the sea from the sand, because be sakshi. Such person who does not have a ras in life, they are no more leading spiritual life. Therefore, one of the most important principle of life is don't give up the joy in living. And we can do that only when we take interest in life. We have to take interest. And if you take interest, the result, the manifestation of the interest in life is you want to learn. You want to learn. See, the children take a lot of interest in life. Why? They want to learn. And for us now, what is there to learn? Like I told you one Sindhi. Did I tell you about one Sindhi? He spoke to me, elderly man. Swamiji, I have decided to study Sanskrit. I said, Mahatma ji, you are now 80 plus. Why you want to study Sanskrit? No, I heard that in the heavens they talk Sanskrit. So I want to learn Sanskrit. I said, but who told you you are going to heaven? Suppose you go to hell. Then he said, then I know Sindhi. So, those who are able to keep the interest in their life, they alone will transcend the impact of this laziness or the tamoguna. So, alasya. Now, second thing, nidra bihi. Nidra is of two types. One is the healthy sleep and second is the unhealthy sleep. What is the healthy sleep? The first sleep is healthy sleep. When we sleep, maybe 2-3 hours, 4 hours and get up. That time our sleep is actually over. But then again we take the second installment. And the second installment is body is lying on the bed and the mind has started his own creation and all kinds of things. And then, Swamiji, when I got up from the sleep, I had a dream. What? A huge snake has come and beaten me. What is the meaning? But did the snake survive or die? If the snake died, then you are in danger. And if you have died, then the snake is in danger. Now where from all this funny thing comes? Because the mind is not having a healthy sleep. Therefore, Nidra is that unhealthy aspect of the sleep. By that we become tied down. Now you all must be having this experience. All of us spend a lot of time on the bed when we are neither sleeping nor doing anything. Struggling to sleep, and the sleep doesn't come. Then you try this way, that way. Finally, you get so tired, and out of the tiredness you get to sleep. But during that period, we don't want to do something, study or read, no, nothing. Because of this nidra, this ties down. And once this habit gets into our system, this is a very important thing. And this habit is with all the so-called prosperous families, prosperous society, where the children are not disciplined by the parents. The children will continue as long as they want to keep awake, and then they will continue to sleep 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Do you think they are sleeping? They keep on tossing on the bed, and therefore nobody should enter my room, because all abnormal habits are developed. Therefore, alasya nidrabihi. And the third one is pramada. Pramada is what? We repeat the same mistake with proficiency. Is called as pramada. Now, what is the mistake we repeat again every day? Dehatma bhava and jivatma bhava, again and again. But do you remember, yesterday we studied, I am not the body. Yes, I remember. I am not your body, but I am my body. See? So, pramada does not allow us to practice our knowledge because of the habit of repeating the same thing again and again. So that habitual lifestyle creates our swabhava. And if we don't change our swabhava, we are not spiritual seekers. This is how this tamo guna ties us down through the delusion and mohanam, because of the lack of discrimination. What for the life is? Is this only eating, sleeping and wasting the whole life? Thus, this under the delusion, the tamo guna binds us. Now, punaha gunanam vyaparaha sankshepataha uchyate. So now, hey Arjun, gunanam vyaparaha, the expression of these three gunas again summarized in the 9th verse. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati Rajak karmani bharata Jnanam avrutyatu tamaha Pramade sanjayatyuta. Now if you see, Bhagavan has taken out certain words from the earlier three expressions. What was said? This sattva guna ties us down sukha sangena jnana sangena. Rajo guna ties us down through the trishna sanga samudbhavam ragatmakam karva sangena. And the tamoguna ties us down with the pramada alasya nidrabhihi. Now out of this Sattva Guna, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. Sukha is taken, knowledge is deleted. Rajaha Karmani. And third, Jnanam Avrutyatu Tamaha Pramade Sanjayatyuta. And in case of the tamas, only pramada is taken. Now let us try to understand this thing. Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati Samshleshayati. When we become extremely comfort oriented, the result is we miss many opportunities in our life to learn. See, this is what happens. The one who wants comforts in life, he cannot study. The Vidyarthi, if he is Sukharthi, he can never study. We have to be ready to go through all the difficulties of life. That is why I know Tad Vijnanartham Gurumeva Bigachet Samit Panihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So those who are extremely comfort oriented, they will never like to spend time on study, etc. So they want everything free. One day one person came, Swamiji, I want to ask you certain questions. I said, I don't want to reply a single question. Why, Swamiji? I said, it's my choice. Why means what? No, but I have questions. I said, then you keep with you. I don't want your questions. I am happy. Swamiji, I don't know what to do now. But why don't you allow me to ask questions? See, when we go to the Mahatmas always answer the question. I said, who told you I am Mahatma? I am not Mahatma. No, please. I said, look here, I am not going to answer any of your question. Do you know why you are asking question? You are asking question because you are lazy. Where is the question? In your mind, is it not? I don't have any question. So who should find out the reply or answer, you or me? Will you come and tell me, Swamiji, I am feeling very hungry, please take food on my behalf? No. You have to eat your own food in the same manner. If you have doubt, you find out the answer. And why we don't want to find out the answer? Who will think and all that? You already know everything. So we want pre-digested and circulated food. We don't want to do any efforts. See? Therefore, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. Such people, they have all the time, all the questions. They will never put effort to study and know and discover. And you know, friends, I tell you one important thing. Only that remains yours, which you have discovered. See? The happiness, the bliss of your own being is alone your bliss. The happiness that you get from the worldly objects, it can never remain with you. If this is true with the experience of happiness, it is equally true with the experience of the self. You have to discover. Nobody can do it for you. And therefore, those who are too much attached to the sukha, comforts, they have all the time, this is the only thing. Like, remember I told you once in the last to last batch, there was one girl, she one day came and met me, Swamiji, my Mamaji is very fond of you, and when I told you that you are here, so he wants to come and meet you. I said, okay, let him come. He came. And I was staying in that room that time. I said, Acha Mahatma, please sit down. So he sat on the floor. I said, don't sit on the floor, it's wet. Sit in the chair. No, I will sit here. I said, then let me put little more water and mud and then you sit there. Swami, you are becoming angry. I said, look here, when it is wet and it is raining heavily and there is a seat free, And when I am telling you, sit in the chair, no, Swamiji, I am Sattvic, I have got this thing, I read every day Ramayana, I do this japa, I go to the temple, and this and that. I said, when you are reading Ramayana, are you obliging Bhagavan Rama or what? And when I started talking to him, he said, Swamiji, I have come with you to get some answers, but I have forgotten what for I have come. I don't know what happened to me. See, idea is goody. That is not spiritual life. So, sukha sangena badnati. So, I have got my own room and I get up in the morning, nobody to disturb me, and then I do my meditation, Hare Ram. And little bit disturbance comes here and there. It is enough to upset such a person. Such a chui mui spirituality. You know chui mui? Chui mui means touch me not. There is a plant, shrub. The moment you touch, it collapses. In the same manner, little bit something happens. Today's meditation was upset. Why? Because I was upset. Why? Because too much of food. Therefore, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. This is how there are certain rules in life. You please know these rules and follow. One of the important rule. Those who are goody, be aware of them. They are very, very dangerous fellows. Like, Tulsidaji says that Ati Vinayat Dhurta Lakshanam. And he gives example. The cobra comes in front of you and Ati Vinayat Dhurta Lakshanam. Very, very dangerous fellows. And they try that they are absolutely Sattva. Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati. Second, Rajaha Karmani Bharata. Rajaha Karmani He Bharata Sanjayati iti Vartate. So, Karmani. In the karma, the Rajoguni people, they cannot themselves tolerate if anybody is sitting quiet. They feel so angry and disgusted. And because of this, there are many families I have seen. Because of that, poor man's life is miserable. This lady is full of and he is very happy. He says, okay, you do. I do. But why don't you do? No, he is happy without doing. Why you make him miserable? So, Rajaha Karmani Bharata. Such workaholics are difficult to live with. So, and why they do this thing? Because this thing has gone in their head. We should be dynamic in life. Rajaha Karmani Bharata. Now third, Jnanam Avrutyatu Tamaha Pramade Sanjayatyuta. When this Tamoguna over possesses us, Alasya Nidra you may be able to take care of. Alasya will go when there is somebody standing with a danda behind you. Alasya will go. Nidra will go when you have some pressure on you. But pramad, the ability to do the same mistake again and again. How many times we are told, here Arjuna also said in the 11th chapter, Mohoyam vigato mama. I think my delusion has gone. This is the highest delusion. And this is the pramad. Pramade sanjayatyuta. Therefore, pramada is the habit of forgetting. This is the tamoguna, and because of that, jnanam avrutya. Whatever we have studied, whatever we have learned, whatever we have practiced, everything is forgotten because of this pramada. In Sanatujatiya, it comes. Pramadam vai mrityu bravimi. The real death is pramada. Because we are not able to remember that we are neither the body nor the jiva. We are the essential self. So non-remembrance of our essential self is called as pramada. And this is how the Rajoguna covers our essential knowledge and ties us down to this. Now, uktam karyam kada kurvanti guna iti uchyate. Now, these three effects of these gunas. Sattva ties down to comforts, Rajas ties down to activity, and Tamoguna ties down to pramada, again and again forgetting the same thing. When this happens, this is said in the 10th verse, Rajas tamascha Sattvam bhavati bharata. Rajas sattvam tamaschaiva. Tamas sattvam rajas tatha. Now, Rajaha and Tamaha cha abhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. When the Rajoguna and Tamoguna are suppressed, overpowered, then the Sattvaguna takes charge of the life. Rajaha, Tamaha, Abhibhuya, overpowering. So Rajaha, Tamaha, cha ubhau api abhibhuya. Abhibhuya means overpowering. When Rajas and Tamas are overpowered, then only the Sattva will be able to take over. Now, how do we do this? First, we have to conquer the Tamoguna. How the Tamoguna is conquered? Tamoguna is conquered by invocation of the desires. And how the desires are invoked? By giving comforts. You understand this technique? This is what the American method of sale. Buy one, take three free. So by that, see, if you buy one, you get one thing free. So even if you don't want for getting something free, you go on buying the things. So this kind of temptations, when they are created in the mind, the Tamoguna is discarded and then one gets into activity. Now take an example about this. To understand this principle, Rajas tamascha abhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. There was a person who was lazing around doing nothing. So he was given a cup of tea to drink every day, 4 times a day. I don't know whether you have seen or not. When tea was first introduced in India, that time they used to give tea free. So the tea, dealers or sellers used to come village to village, town to town, and they used to have demonstration of tea and they'll give freely to the people. So, very good, very nice, it is so freshening, you start liking it slowly, free because you like it free. And once you get little addiction of the comfort, Sattva Guna has taken possession of you. Then you want it again. Now what happened to that tea? It is not all the time free. Now you understood it is good here. Now you buy. Oh, but I don't have money. Never mind. Lift all these tea boxes and put them on the top of the truck. And after you lift all the boxes, we will give you a cup of tea. So for getting the comforts and happiness and the pleasure out of that cup of tea, this lazy person who wanted everything free, now he has to work. So Tamoguna is broken and Rajoguna is invoked. See? This technique is employed in a wrong manner. Like if you go to the African continent and if you go in our country, what is done? These lazy, dull-witted, indolent, non-creative people, they are given things free. Thereafter, they are not told, if you are really enjoying this thing, now put efforts. Then that became their right. Getting the things free have become right. When I was in South Africa, one person told me something very good. He said, Swamiji, in our country, all the blacks think that they owe to the whole world, or the whole world owes to them. The other way around. So everything should come to them free. That is what they think. And once this kind of free attitude develops in a society, that society is entering into the tamoguna. Therefore, first, comforts and happiness, pleasure is given to create the desire. And when the desire is created, don't give anything free. Now let them work hard. And once they start working hard, tamoguna will go away. And then sattva rajas is suppressed, sattva guna becomes prominent, and then the life is totally different. Now this is achieved in our scriptures in a most scientific manner. How this is achieved? We are told to lead the life of dharma. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. So what is the dharma? Dharma is that which doesn't allow you to be lazy. You should get up in the morning, Brahma Murta. You should give bath to yourself. Then you should chant the Gayatri mantra. Then you should do the puja of Lord Sun. And then after that is done, then you should do your regular duties. Once you become responsible and start following the life of dharma, you cannot afford to be tamoguni, lazy. See? And a person who begins his or her day in the morning with all inspiration and cheer, his life will be totally different. And a person who gets up in the morning at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, somehow or the other. You see their life, how disgusting it is, Therefore, when we lead the life of dharma, it is for breaking the tamoguna. And when we start leading the life of dharma, that our ego, doership, rajoguna is discipline. So rajoguna disciplines our activity, and rather dharma disciplines our activity after rajoguna is invoked, and dharma also breaks the indolence by employing us in the karma. When these two things are done, then as a result of this, our sattva guna becomes more. And when sattva guna becomes more, two things happen. Either we follow the path of devotion, or we follow the path of knowledge. This is how rajas tamas chavibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata. And then further, rajas sattvam tamas chaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. That we will take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.